Our first speaker is Karina Gold, and I live on Karina. I'm a guest on Karina's territory. She's the chair and spokesperson for the Confederated Villages of Lishan Ohlone. Karina was born and raised in Oakland, California, in the village of Huichin. She's a mother of three and grandmother of four, and the co-founder and lead organizer for Indian People Organizing for Change, a small Native-run organization that works on Indigenous people issues and sponsored the annual Shell Mound Peace Walks from 2005 to 2009. These walks brought about education and awareness for the desecration of sacred sites in the Greater Bay Area. As a tribal leader, she has continued to fight for the protection of the shell mounds, uphold her nation's inherent right to sovereignty, stand in solidarity with her Indigenous relatives to protect our sacred waters, mountains, and lands all over the world. Her life's work has led to the creation of Sogorea Te Land Trust, a woman-led organization within the urban setting of her ancestral territory of the Bay Area. Sogorea Te Land Trust works to return Indigenous land to Indigenous peoples. Based on an understanding that Oakland is home to many peoples that have been oppressed and marginalized, Sogorea Te works to create a thriving community that lives in relation to the land. Through the practices of rematriation, cultural revitalization, and land restoration, the Land Trust calls on Native and non-Native peoples to heal and transform legacies of colonization, genocide, and to do the work our ancestors and future generations are calling us to do.
Sogorea Te was created so you can get land back into Indigenous hands. And we received our first piece of land in 200 years, a quarter acre of land in a very poor neighborhood in Oakland on Planting Justice property. And Planting Justice is a beautiful organic nursery that employs formerly incarcerated men and women. And we received that land after Standing Rock, because those that were leaders at Planting Justice went to Standing Rock and were so moved by it, asked the elders what they should do. And the elders told them they should work with the First Nation peoples on whose land they're on. And the return of the land came to us. The first piece of land returned to us in 250 years, where we have actually been able to create our first dance arbor in 250 years there, a place that is sovereign land for Indigenous people on our territory. You imagine in one county, Alameda County, that's one of 5 counties that our tribe has traditional ties to. Alameda County has 425,000 acres. The Ohlone people own maybe a quarter to a half an acre. And that includes my house and my auntie's house. And so we really are invisible and homeless in our own homelands. And so the work that we do in protecting and preserving our sacred sites is really a work of love, not just love for our own people, but love for the people that have come to stay on our lands. We ask people to come here and to be good guests. We cannot be good hosts unless we have good guests on our land. And you ask any child what it means to be a good guest, and they will tell you what all of us have taught our children and our grandchildren and our nieces and nephews. You don't touch things that aren't yours. You ask permission. You don't break things. You say thank you and please. But when we become adults, we forget that very teaching that we gave our children. We forget that we are the guests on someone else's homeland. How do we work in reciprocity to bring our waterways back, to make sure that everything has a rightful place in our lands, that we have respect for all living creatures? And Sogorea Te Land Trust, Indian People Organizing for Change, Confederated Villages of Lishan are all in alignment to doing that by bringing back the balance into the world, by making sure that Indigenous leadership of women is heard and followed, that we are the ones that have the songs for our children's children. We're the ones that have the songs for the waters and for our basket making materials and medicines. We're the ones that help to bring life into this earth. And we are the ones that actually have the job of helping to usher it out. And so those relationships that we have in this world has to be brought back into balance. When we are able as mothers and grandmothers and aunties to do that kind of work here, our sisters, then we will be able to also ensure that the Indigenous men have their rightful place and they remember what that place was before colonization. That we can get away from misogyny and we can get away from the patriarchy that has harmed this earth, and that we can move forward in a better way.